and we're back basement benching with bands on a Tuesday. That's right, bands. We are one step closer to being able to run real speed work again. And the reason I decided to run bands today is, number one, I want to get closer to going back to real speed work, but got a somewhat exciting package in the mail again today from Elite FTS, the best bands on earth. And part of what's in this package is the Monster Minis that I wanted to pull with on the weekend, but don't need those today because that is going to be way too much tension for where I am. But we got a fresh pair of Micro Minis, and this will actually be the first time in my entire lifting career that I've benched with Micro Minis. And that is because when I was strong, I was like, Micro Minis are girly bands. I'm not going to bench with Micro Minis. That's not enough tension. But right now, there are a lot of females who bench more than me, so I can, take the ego shot, bench with some Micro Minis, because they're going to help me get back to where I need to be. And maybe I'll realize that I don't need as much accommodating resistance on bench as I thought I did either. And like rough plan sitting here right now is last week for the 6x10, I ran it with 155. I figure I'll just go 155 with the micros on top for a 6x8. Not sure what I'll do with grip variation yet, but I'm going to keep the rest times as short as I can. So let's get warmed up, get set up, get into it. But first, fresh band smell. As far as band setup goes, don't overthink it. If you're in a power rack, just fold it under the base of the rack and up to the bar. If you got band pegs, you can fold it under the band pegs. If you don't got either a rack or band pegs, just fold it under a dumbbell and bring it up to the bar. And I try to set it up so that the bands are pulling approximately straight down when I'm in the bottom of the bench. Should be about perfect. Can tell there's something there, but it doesn't feel like there's so much there that it's going to be sketchy on the pec in any way, shape, or form. I really miss being able to take adult-sized warm-up jumps on bench. Yeah, really actually like the feel of that. Almost feels better than straight weight because it kind of gives me something to push through the whole range. And biggest concern was like the eccentric might be a little sketchy on the pec, but got none of that, so working weight. Something for you guys to note, every time I'm training with accommodating resistance on the bar, I'm starting from my very bottom sets with the accommodating resistance already on the bar, then I'm working up. I'm not working up and then putting the AR on afterwards. And that is because it's not super critical like today with the Micro Minis because they're not that heavy, but the more accommodating resistance you are using, the more important it becomes to be used to pushing through it, because if you are, benching with, a double Monster Mini, like if you just, work up to work with and toss that on, that is gonna catch you by surprise, and you wanna be prepared for that push through before you get there, and it's just gonna make the whole warm-up process a hell of a lot smoother if you're working up with bands or chains already on the bar. Now, got the timer out again for these, so see how quickly we can get through them. And last week, I said Kaylin was going to make fun of me for only using 155. Kaylin actually made fun of me because I've been coaching the fucker for 2 years already and have been apparently pronouncing his name wrong the entire time. And he finally told me that it's actually pronounced Keelan. So, yeah, terrible coach moment right there. Sorry about that. But we'll get into it, start the timer up, and see where we go. And in my defense, he never told me how to say his name, and it's spelt like Kaylin, so I'll give myself that one. Getting some spiff on her today. Bands aren't going to make it exceptionally harder though. Oh boy. Fuck, we're feeling that. Woo-wee. Tight. Big fucking lats, dude. Fuck, let's go. 2 more. Come on. Oh, fuck. Let's go. Last one. Tight as fuck. Come on. I wasn't sure if I was going to make that last one, but oh, come on, focus. 256. Not too shabby. Gonna pull the bands off and put a board press board down now. And there's a couple ways I've ran this in the past. I guess I'll sit down because I'm explaining shit. But like a board press secondary and speed work, I've ran it all the way from like a light continuation of speed work all the way to like a very, very, very heavy secondary when I was an equipped bencher. And like they both work very, very well for different reasons. And right now I'm going to run it on the lighter end just to make sure that I'm not overcooking it for my Friday. And like as I get into better shape, might see these creep up into the heavier secondary range. But for now, keep them light, keep them crispy, keep them moving well to keep getting the arms into better shape for benching. Going old school shirt board. Shirt board's like extra motivation to make sure that I'm having a soft touch so the board doesn't slap me in the face and I eat shit. First on rack after pulling the band off. Always a little weird. And like, I know I could be using a bench block, but I would way rather deal with getting slivers in my nipples than have that stupid thing like rotating the bar at the touch point every rep. Kettlebell triceps again, and today we're going for the big one. Making them tape pressy too. She's coming back. One more. Hands and forearms, stage ready. Rest of me needs a little work. So I don't think that unstable surface training is totally useless. And it's a matter of like asking, what are we doing the unstable training for? And what is gonna be the limiting factor of the lift? And like a Bosu ball squat, I'm gonna be so limited by my ability to balance on my Bosu ball that I'm not gonna get a lot of training utility out of it. Whereas something like this, the relative lack of stability is gonna be much lower, and I'm gonna be more limited by my ability to actually contract and produce force into the reps over and over again. And I get the kind of that added benefit of needing to control where my arms are in relation to my torso, a little bit more so than I would on a normal push-up. And with my ability to control my arms being one of the bigger limiting factors on my bench right now, these are very, very, very worth it to be training. We'll run a couple more. Still trying to like drop into the band to get a stretch. Still trying to protract hard at the top. Oh. Woo-wee. I'm going with some roll-in push-downs on the prime handle. And like the whole idea behind the roll is we're kind of leading the tricep contraction with some lat. And this is kind of helping to coordinate the lat catch, tricep push that we want to be happening to really be able to stack on the lats and tries on bench. And it just feels really freaking good. And like what I'm doing with these, I'm kind of thinking like I'm rolling until I feel a ton of tension in the tricep, and like when I feel like I'm hitting like that peak tricep tension, then I start the extension and finish off, and it's just freaking gnarly. Try them. And like what I'm doing with these, I'm kind of thinking like I'm rolling until I feel a ton of tension in the tricep, and like when I feel like I'm hitting like that peak tricep tension, then I start the extension and finish off, and it's just freaking gnarly. Try them. I've been thinking that I don't have a great place to do cabled outs on here, because like standing up like from the low pulley, it just doesn't feel fantastic. But I was thinking, there's a seat, so I put a D handle on, and let's see how this. Oh God, that's way too heavy. Now let's see how this does. Get a little bit further over. Whew. I think this is gonna work. Gonna shorten up the chain for the next set. Yeah, that's blasting them. Ditch the chain to give me a little more range. Yeah, that is freaking sick. Why didn't I think of this sooner? Boulder shoulders. Here I come. Next logical question. Does it work for front delts? Yes. Definitely works for front delts. Although, I'm sure it looks a little questionable. At least I'm not trying to like front delt from this angle with shake weight. This is so hard. That's what she said. Fuck. And remember, you're listening to a dude whose biceps haven't gotten bigger in a long while. So I'm kind of speaking from the side of what I was doing definitely wasn't working for me. And what I was doing was just training the same weight, trying to get a pump, not really pushing things. And when Cole got back to Canada, I was like, holy shit, dude, your arms blew up. And turns out he just did some little progressive overload for his biceps and they started growing. So that's why I'm trying to curl heavier and heavier every week. And I think this is probably going to be the last week of that progression because those are getting sloppy. But what I'll do next week is drop back down a little bit lighter and push my way back up, trying to get more reps on the way back up and just kind of keep running that loop over and over again until the arms grow. Pump check. I think she's at least kind of working. Hammers. And running some blast strap face pulls for the old rear delts. And I guess we already talked about this last week. It's more general upper back than it is rear delt, but we're trying to finish wide and high and get a nice big old squeeze. And we're trying to squeeze it at the bottom so we're not yanking it. Really just trying to prioritize quality of contraction here. Yeah, it's nasty. More of these nasty ass 2-for-1 ab pullover Frankenstein bullshit. Gotta adjust. when I was in it last week, I didn't realize how much I was dragging ass until like today is the first day that I can truly say that I feel freaking good again. And holy shit, was I dragging ass last week. And I don't know if it's just that or being back to more of like a speed work intent and pressing against bands, but today's session was freaking fun. And like that's kind of the beauty of dynamic effort work, is like you just get to like blast shit around and then get a really sick pump, and it always ends up being a really, 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 really good time, which is freaking awesome. But what you got to understand about like the sessions like this today is that this session alone, on its own, it's probably not going to do a lot for my bench strength. And like where dynamic effort work, where the accessory work makes its impact on strength is by stacking these good, fun, awesome sessions back to back to back to back, and then being able to maintain like high enough effort, high enough intensity, high enough consistency through the entire training cycle in order to put it together on the day. And it's like people often don't get excited about dynamic effort work, and they tend to not have fun with it because they're just thinking like, this is too light to do anything for me. And if you can get it through your head that it's not just this session, it's this session, the next session, the next session, all coming together that's going to have the effect, then you can start to like embrace it and really find that fun in moving the weights fast and believe in it and get it to do something. And this comes back to the whole, what we learn in the gym applies to life, because so much of what you need to do to get anywhere life-wise, again, it isn't just that one day of taking classes in school. It isn't that one day of working on your business. It isn't that just one single whatever that's going to make the difference. It's showing up and doing the thing over and over and over again until you freaking get there. So guys, that is what I got for today. Appreciate the hell out of all of you. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching me do this as I go through my own delayed gratification of busting ass on making a YouTube channel grow. Peace out. Thank you again.